I'm Maxwell, and this is my invention for the Science Talent Search 2026. I call it SOLACE, short for Solar Offline Learning and Conversational Engine. It's a portable AI chatbot that runs entirely offline without internet connection. As of April 2026, approximately 74% of the world's population, over 6 billion people, use the internet. Yet the remaining 26%, around 2.2 billion people, do not have internet access at all, cutting them off from online resources most of us rely on for knowledge every day. SOLACE is built for those 2.2 billion people. I had 4 primary objectives. It had to run entirely offline, it had to be portable and solar powered, it had to be accessible, including for visually impaired users, and it had to be easy enough for anyone to use with a single button. What makes SOLACE original is that no existing AI chatbot combines all of these features. SOLACE combines a local language model, an on-device image generator, and a vision camera, all running inside a 3D printed enclosure with braille markings. Powered by a battery, you can recharge from a solar panel. In testing, it answered questions from an entire classroom of students. However, the current draw from the Raspberry Pi 5 and the LCM 8850 hat limits the Pi Sugar 3 Plus 5000 mAh battery runtime to only 20 minutes. This issue can be minimized by installing an additional external battery pack that acts as a capacitor while the solar panel recharges both external and internal battery packs. Let me walk you through SOLACE. This is the 3D printed housing. I based it on the Whisplay chatbot from Pi Sugar, but because I used a different M5 stack PCIe board, the original chassis didn't fit. So I imported the SEL file into Tinkercad and extended it by 2mm, then redesigned the cooling vents to line up with my new board. These bumps are braille markings, so a visually impaired user can feel which mode they're in without looking at the screen. To turn on SOLACE, double press and hold the power button P. First, mode 1, Ollama, with Qwen-VL 1.7 billion model. Who is Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein was a famous physicist. He discovered that light behaves like particles and waves. He also worked on the theory of relativity. He was born in 1879 and died in 1955. He is known for his contributions to science and his famous equation, E=mc2.
What was his favorite music?
Albert Einstein loved music. He enjoyed playing the violin and listened to classical music. He was really into jazz and blues too. Music was a big part of his life.
Next, mode 2, LCM Diffusion, the image generator. Generate an image of a dog sitting next to a window.
The picture is ready for you to see.
That image was generated entirely on the device. No internet, no cloud. And finally, mode 3, Qwen-VL 2 billion, the vision mode. I point the camera at this object. What do you see?
I see a grand piano with a pink, furry stuffed animal sitting on a black stool next to it. There's a guitar on the floor, a fluffy rug, and a book on the piano.
A few challenges came out while building SOLACE. The PCIe board didn't fit. I solved that with the chassis redesign I mentioned. The LCM 8850's text-to-speech wouldn't run offline. I replaced it with eSpeak-NG, an open-source synthesizer that runs locally. Behind all of this is one key scientific principle. Large language models store knowledge implicitly in the weights. Unlike a database that looks facts up in tables, an LLM learns patterns during training, and that knowledge stays permanently across billions of numbers in a neural network. For example, if we look at the sentence, the cat sat on the model calculates a probability for every possible next word based on patterns learned during training, and it will normally predict mat over hat because sentences like this appear far more often with mat in its training data. Once the model is trained, it doesn't need the internet to answer. The knowledge is already seated inside the model. Finally, I designed SOLACE external housing to be shaped like a plant to fit this year's Seed of Science theme. The enclosure contains the solar panel which SOLACE uses for charging. In closing, the seeds of science are only worth planting if they grow in everyone's garden. I believe SOLACE can be one of those seeds. Thank you for watching.